Are you ready, Ornlu?
I'm ready when you are.
All right, it's patch note overview time with Ornlu and I just played, I guess, the last ever game with, as you were saying, with pre-nerf Gurjars, and now we get to see the updates. All right, so this is a fun-filled release with exciting updates. That's some very optimistic writing by whoever wrote this.
Oh yeah.
In
I wonder if it
game,
was Ashley.
I wonder if it was. She can hopefully laugh along with us then. I wonder if she's here, like hiding. Hello, Ashley. In-game ranked map pool voting. So that is good. They're taking the thing that was on the website and very crappy, and now putting it in-game. So I guess Turkman doesn't make posts on the forums anymore. He goes into the game and does some things, or maybe it's not even him anymore. Maybe they've taken it out of his hands, put the meat
Turkman
on
lost
some
his
other
job.
grill. A huge list of fixes. I don't know what huge is, but okay, and more. Right. Oh no, huge lowercase followed by huge in all caps. That's how you know things are really huge.
Oh yeah.
Dress to impress. I guess it's cosplay stream time. Golden fleece wearing. Okay, I don't care about that. I don't care about the cosmetics. Spectacular challenges. Okay, rematch shortcuts. That's what I care about. And the big question is, will this be ranked? Will it be ranked? And also, this is another thing. Optimize art asset files. This is probably the biggest change in the patch, that they optimize the art asset thing. So
Nice.
you might get much better performance and perhaps even faster load times for games. I don't know exactly what that's doing, but they changed the behind the scenes file format. So lots of, like, I'm sure Ashley had lots of fun, or whoever wrote this, writing up stuff. But this is probably the long-term most impactful thing, because it's actually a performance optimization.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Right. Let's see. Custom mods may not be compatible with the latest update. If you experience issues, try disabling your installed mods before trying again. It does that for us.
Oh yeah.
Alright, event with stuff. I'm just going to scroll past that. Anything you want to say about the event?
Nah, I don't care.
Okay. Stability and performance. Fixed an issue where players could get stuck on the main menu screen after accepting an invitation and successfully joining a match.
Oh boy.
Oh, that happened to Benguti the other day. You're in the chat. Is that what happened to you? Like, we found that match, and then you're like, oh, what am I doing? I'm on the main menu. So many times you've had that. All right, that means, Benguti, we can now play some team games with you again.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Actually, if you want, you can hop on with us after the patch, and we can test that out. And if it happens again, it better not. Fixed an issue where the game was failing to show other clans in the clan browser when they caused the game to get stuck when clicking disband clan. I'm surprised this gets fixed, because I'm surprised anyone uses the clan browser to report that bug.
Yeah, nah, I have no idea.
I just remember those times we would have random people joining our clan, and then I would go to kick them from the clan because I didn't know who they were. And it would only work if they were online. If they were offline and I tried to kick them, my game would crash.
Feels bad, man.
Alright, so no longer crashes when loading replays. That's good. No longer crashes when accepting Steam join lobby URL invitations when the game is closed. Okay, I think that's good. Safety checks. Safety first, to prevent an out-of-range crash on the matchmaking screen. I don't know what would cause an out-of-range issue, but I guess that's good. Sounds like someone... this sounds like a developer passed a message on to Ashley, and then she had to write about it without them actually explaining that there is an array out-of-bounds issue that is causing a crash. But good job writing that up, and good job including some type of technical detail inside of the error message. One day we'll get back to scripter quality notes. One day.
One day.
Oh, this is one I've seen a lot of people complaining about, or maybe not complaining about, but unlocking. You can now only unlock the achievement for training 10 Haufnitze if you train 10 Haufnitze.
Ooh.
Uh,
Oh, I'm just zooming ahead, and I was testing something.
all right, so they added back Elephant Archer and Elite Elephant Archer icons as profile. Okay, I guess that's good. Various fixes on the Dynasty of India Steam achievements. That's good. Graphics fixed an issue where flares were difficult to see during some games. I'm sure MBL will appreciate that. Added a new idle pose for skirms to better differentiate them from the spearmen used. Oh, yes!
Yes, I just tested. I
Yes!
just looked at this.
Yes!
But guess what? It's only regular skirmishers. Elite skirmishers are holding their javelins perpendicular to the ground, whereas the regular
No!
skirmishers are now holding their javelins over their shoulders.
Okay, so what about imp skirms? What about imp skirms?
Yeah, that's the next thing. Imp skirm. Okay,
Yeah.
they're also holding it on the ground, so it's just elite skirmishers.
Okay, so
Or no, it's just regular skirmishers that are like going to be easier to identify.
okay, well, to be fair, this update says skirmishers. It doesn't say elite or imp skirms.
Yeah.
So, all right, we are 1/3 of the way to having this patch note item being completed. Good job. Okay, armor value / icon no longer disappears in tooltips when a building unit has an armor value of -1. Oh, I didn't realize that was a thing, but that's nice. Obsolete map style dropdown no longer appears in single player lobby and for multiplayer hosts. What is obsolete map style? I don't know what that is.
No
My game
idea.
is still, I think it's not going to download as fast while I'm streaming. I'm about halfway done. But we'll open it up and check after we run through the notes. AI difficulty is now displayed while in the quick play queue. Okay, that's good. I think there was an queue for AI game option. I think it's kind of
was.
Yeah. I know at least Age 4 had it, and I think they added it to Age 2. Although if it is there, it's very well hidden in the quick play queue. So it's a good thing, but probably not as well pointed out in the menus as it could be. Tech tree preview for jars now shows the camel line properly. That was something the camels didn't appear in the tech tree. So now either they've removed camels from the jars or they display it in the tech tree that they have them. So probably not the fun option of removing
camels
them.
from Gujarat.
All right, so objectives timers now update properly when changing the in-game language. Oh, okay. That'll be good for the scenario players if you swap a language while in the middle of a game. Kudos to whoever discovered that. That's going to be a rare thing. Lobby creation for co-op games via the main menu no longer skips host setup. Skips host setup. Oh, is that the like where you can choose the server? That might have been it. I think I remember having server problems or something when we did co-op campaigns a while ago. But okay, so players can no longer interact with multiplayer lobby dropdowns and buttons when the map selection screen is open. All right, yeah, that was the thing. If you opened the map selection screen, you could still click the buttons that were on the right side in some circumstances, so that's good. Diplomacy label for allied players during treaty is no longer different from the standard one. During the treaty, were enemies marked as allies?
No, but you couldn't attack them.
Well, yeah, that's the point of the treaty. I remember there being something weird with the Diplo label, so I forget exactly what it was, but that is fixed now, so that's good. Games can now... Oh, okay, this is a big one if it's... What I think it's referring to is that when you're in the multiplayer menu and you click the refresh button and you're trying to search, the search oftentimes does not work, and this might be fixing some of it when a word has 3 or less letters. So 3 or fewer letters, you might be able to search for them properly. That'll be good. I think the search probably still needs a lot more work, but good that we have an improvement there. Fixed an issue where in some languages or fonts, the player's custom deathmatch lobby rating overlapped with the valid checkbox. Okay. A rare texture glitch in the load game screen. A rare issue where map selection wasn't displaying anything, leading to an error while launching the game. I think I might have encountered that a couple times. There's like weird issues. Sometimes you select a map, but it doesn't actually select it and you launch into a different map. I don't know if those are addressed, but maybe they're related to that.
Yeah, no idea.
A rare issue where the screen remains darkened after closing a warning dialogue. This has happened to me. And
yep,
I think,
me too.
Yeah, it's fair to say that it is rare, but good that that is fixed. Fixed an issue where the campaign menu background was black when entering the campaign menu for the first time after launching the game. I haven't seen that. And mods no longer duplicated. Ooh, that has happened to me. That has happened to me. And
Yep.
chat no longer appears truncated when above a certain character amount. I hope that means they don't use a scrolling marquee. We'll have to test that. Okay, co-op missions now reset upon creating a lobby. Okay, good. Players that were not set to random save could start a co-op campaign using a DLC save they didn't own, which resulted in a crash. Okay. Civilizations now update properly when changing player colors, numbers, and single-player scenarios. Oh, yeah, that's if you have a menu up and you click the button to change the color, it auto-sets the data. There's probably still better things that could be done for that menu, but that's good. Player resources now properly assigned. Okay, that might have been something that was broken for a long time. But there's differences between slots and like colors based on numbers. And I think there were some subtle issues with it, and I think this fixes it. Or at least makes it consistent with the original game.
Okay.
Okay, I fixed an issue where Autofarm Reseed Hockey wasn't working for the Gurjar Mills with Garrison Sheep. Alright. Hope it works for the other herdables too, but it probably does. Spectator mode fixed an issue where players pausing a match in game might cause it to become permanently paused for spectators.
This is huge.
Okay, yeah, this is then the hugest.
Massive.
Yes, this is the absolute hugest thing that they have fixed, even huger than the optimization thing for the art assets. This is horrible for any type of tournaments.
Yep, because it also crashes capture age. Like there was no way around it, and you were just completely screwed if the spectator bug happened.
Yep, this was anyone casting the game would then not be able to continue casting it. So you basically would have to message the players and tell them to save and then restore the game to continue playing it. And if they didn't do that, then specs just wouldn't be able to finish watching the game. So if Microsoft is putting hundreds of thousands of dollars into a tournament, they really need to fix this. And hopefully this is indeed fixed as this claims it is. And at the very least, it's better than Age 4 where they can't even pause. Right, choosing, oh, this is a great one too. Choosing a player name on the UI now sets the camera POV to the player properly. That was the drop-down menu on the left would not sync up with the player you actually had selected. Didn't really matter too much if you were using, because a lot of people use capture age, but in-game, if you were spectating, that was an incredibly annoying bug, so it's a good fix. Right. Gameplay. Oh, okay, yeah. This will be something I can, Okay, so this is about wolves, so Ornlu. This is right up your alley. Removed reaction distance modifier for predator animals like wolves and snow leopards, depending on difficulty, and made it so that predator animals always find villagers within 6 tiles and other units within 4. Easiest difficulty on scenarios and campaigns still uses 4. Alright. So, do you know how wolves used to work?
If you went into their line of sight, like the wolf has a different line of sight based on the difficulty, right? So
no, it has the same line of sight on every difficulty, but the attack radius differed based on difficulty. So
that's the same effect.
Well, not the same thing, because like the line of sight also determines like if you're near the wolf and a boar is chasing you, it continues chasing the unit.
Yes, I know you were gonna bring up that very, very specific situation.
Yep, but yep. So now it's always going to be 6, which was on standard for villagers. It was the weird situations where someone would accidentally set the difficulty to be hard or hardest, and they would attack at 12 tiles. Which I guess this actually, for standard multiplayer games, this doesn't matter, but for AI tournaments where you play on extreme difficulty, this will matter because wolves will now be less aggressive. This is a change for the AI scripters. And I guess easiest difficulty still will use 4 for consistency purposes. Although I guess you can't really play scenarios on easiest because standard is normally the there's only 3 difficulties in the drop downs ever since AOC.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Also matters for any lobby game. Yep, for any lobby game, but that's lobby games typically were still played on standard, right? For like for any
setting, so you would have to manually go and change it to hard, which people
which you would do in the old days if you were playing the AIs because lower difficulties would have like hard coded nerfs, but for human players it was always standard. So this is also a very good change. Something people might not know is that villagers actually are attacked 6 tiles away, which is further than military units. That's a cool little trivia thing. All right. Players are no longer able to push enemy units away during treaty by building foundations on top of them. Well, that's good. Okay, handicap system fixes for other units. Good. Depleted resources no longer disappear on the minimap in the Fog of War. All right.
I was interested in that.
Yeah, because that was the old thing that you could always scout, just as long as you had vision of the Fog of War. You could look at the map and you'd see when the trees were chopped. And I think they fixed that in the game, but now it looks like they've finished the fix by changing the minimap as well, so the minimap won't change until you scout it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's like if you just go over an area, you can see if your opponent is chopping trees because you can see the trees slowly disappear, or you can see a mine go away, and you need to encourage people to scout.
Yeah. All right, so let's see. Fixed typos and audio issues in intro outro slides and in-game menus of some campaigns. Oh, you know what? In the beta, in Joan of Arc 6, there was a scene where there was some text, and then it moved to the next slide, and the text changed, but the image didn't change. But the image still faded out and faded back. So I was like, hey, your slides are broken. The image should stay there instead of fading out and fading back, and only the text should fade. So they fixed that. But they only fixed it for that very specific instance in Joan of Arc 6, and they didn't fix it for all of the other campaign slides.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's good.
So I don't know if this will be that exact issue, but there's definitely some work that can be done in the campaign slides. I remember in the Genghis Khan slide there, I think the voice actor mixed up some words, and they didn't have the text consistent, so maybe that'll be fixed now.
Yeah.
Move some misplaced smoked effects. Oh, okay. You'll like this one.
Yep.
The Bombard Cannon hero now has attack ground.
Except this is mistyped because Jean de Lorraine is in Siege of Paris, but Jean Bureau is in A Perfect Martyr.
Yeah, they're different, so it should be 5 and 6. But
yeah,
do they have the same stats?
I just remember Jean de Lorraine is like a super bombard cannon. Jean Bureau is a crappy bombard.
Yeah, he's a crappy one. Yeah.
Yeah, he has less range.
Yeah, it's like I'll do well against those English longbows, then he doesn't even have the range for it.
You'd just rather use your regular bombards.
Very specific fix the rare crash. Okay, some Regenger fixes.
Yeah, there's a ton of Regenger changes. I mean, I literally just replayed the campaign, so because I'm doing the tier list video on it.
You get to play it again.
Oh no, I'm way too lazy for that.
Well, this is updated just in time for some pacifist playthroughs.
There you go.
Cutscene here can no longer be triggered. Oh, okay, yeah, this was one. I came to the north and it didn't trigger it. So then I came from the south and it did trigger it, I think, when I played it. That'll be good. There's a lot of changes here, and I think it'll just be good for the campaign.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of good changes. I read through them real quick.
Yeah, I know they were already doable pacifists. Just it'll be good to have the updated one to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Jadwiga 4 is the one. I don't know if the updated one is doable. I'll need to look at the start again. Oh yeah, these are just a lot of them. Fixed a bug where you never receive any vills after destroying both enemy TCs. This is a big one because there's an achievement to destroy both TCs. And you were supposed to receive villagers, but you didn't, so you had to just win the game with your starting army and your shipments that came in. Yep, I did that too.
I'm sure you did it too.
Yep. So that's probably the most impactful of the changes. The other ones are mostly just bug fixes. So Regenger 3 Rising Star. I don't know if this happened to you because I lost it the first time I played it because I was betrayed and then Sri Lanka betrayed me, but then the enemies attacked Sri Lanka and destroyed the castle that was there. And then when it was destroyed, it rebuilt as me. And Sri Lanka, I was almost defeated, but the AIs kept attacking Sri Lanka and destroying the castle. So it kept swapping control from me and Sri Lanka, and they kept betraying me and giving it back to me.
Oh, no, I didn't have that issue.
That was a very fun issue. Oh yeah, excessive lumber in mining camps. I've had that problem with AIs too. Yeah, that happens in the Saladin Showdown if you trigger the right stuff. But it was a rare one, so I left it in. for funsies.
Oh, I missed this one. In slaying the Vitra, you can't build bombard towers anymore. What kind of BS is this, man?
Oh. Okay. Yeah, you see how the Lord Bass campaign is the most trigger-filled one that needs the most bug fixes?
Yeah, 100%.
Sacred Warders lose control of the relic cart and wind up unabled. Oh, good. This is a good one. Relic carts, the most annoying thing is when you bring it to an ally, and then the ally captures the relic cart, and then you can't move it anymore. That's happened to me in a few scenarios. That happened to me in the remade Paris one in the Burgundians campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And the dialogue for capturing the guy trebuchets no longer plays if you have first taken which color. Okay, good. Just a dialogue mishap there. And then no more bombard towers. I don't know if that matters. I don't think I built bombard towers, but maybe if you're a bombard tower lover, then
I'm a bombard tower lover.
No more.
I had like the entire island filled with bombard towers.
No more Jadwiga 4 bombard towers. No more Rajendra 5 bombard towers.
Very sad.
Oh, a failsafe that removes all nearby missiles right as a castle changes hands to minimize the risk of the player accidentally destroying the building they are meant to capture. I've killed elephants as I've converted them, so that sounds good. They produce more cannon galleons on moderate and hard. Okay, that's good. Smarter transport landing AI. Overall more helpful. Always good to see the AI is more helpful. I feel like AIs are the way to go in game improvements now. Like I think there's a lot of untapped potential with scenarios and AI players.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, place some rocks behind a barracks to prevent created units. It's always a good thing to do.
Yep.
I mean, it does happen to human players, but AIs, you can't really prevent it as much. And then some Devapala changes and some Prithviraj. Now mandatory to defeat red to win. Oh, that's going to make it take much longer to finish that one.
Then what's the point of the relics? Like, I literally just replayed this 2 days ago.
Yeah, because it was you could. I guess you would always win by taking the relics because they were just like you get them before you get to red. So now they just make you actually play through the full thing.
The other way around. Usually it's way easier to defeat red than to find the last relic because you have to go all the way back up to the north to the Ghaznavids.
Yeah, but they're not actually a player though. They just have some units.
And now they're player in the updated version.
Oh, okay, that changes things.
Yeah, because they changed the scenario a bit to reflect that you're now Gujars and not Indians.
All right, so this is then the biggest balance change. Oh, Nova, thank you for the raid. Oh, and hello, Zeus Aoe2. Nova, you're arriving just as we're looking at the patch notes. And oh, my game actually has finished updating. Let me click play there. So crossbow research cost increased from 125.75 to 175.125. What do you think about this one, Lou?
I think that it's actually going to matter more for something like Empire Wars than it's necessarily going to matter for RM, except for the whole like Saracen Market, Fast Castle thing.
Yeah, so I don't really care about Empire Wars, but what I worry about is there are other maps like your arena opening where you go for 5 archers and then you do the crossbow upgrade, but you can't afford Bodkin. That's going to become much harder to pull off now since you can't upgrade to crossbow. And there'll be things like sneaking on BF or landing on islands that this affects more because you're already really tight on the eco than it does on Arabia.
They made forage bushes look really funky. They're really ugly.
We'll get to that in a moment then. Let me
and also, I'm checking Prithviraj 1, and it still says you need to kill Nagarjuna. It doesn't say you need to defeat him.
Probably the same thing, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is ARB research. I don't like the ARB research cost increased. I don't think it matters as much as crossbow, but I'm not a fan of like double nerfing them both at the same time.
I think it doesn't. It just makes Arbalest, the timing less powerful, and I feel like that was a strategy that people were already starting to learn how to deal with, aka just make buildings.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you make buildings, and if they send rams, you just make a mangonel behind a castle. I don't know. I don't feel like this was necessary. I can understand people wanting the crossbow change. I'm not really a fan of the ARB one.
Yeah, it's not going to make the biggest of differences, but you know,
it just makes Bracer before ARB even more self-evident. Yeah, exactly. And maybe even Chem before ARB now.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's pretty expensive.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you just kind of flip it around then. Normally, because ARB doesn't give you more range, so you always want to do Bracer before ARB because it's cheaper, it gives you the attack, and it gives you range. But now maybe it just becomes, instead of Bracer ARB, you go Bracer Chemistry, which you kind of could prioritize earlier already because Chemistry was cheaper and it also gives you Bombard Cannons. So this one, I don't think it really matters as much, but still, I think it's not really necessary.
Yeah.
And then, this one. This is
I'm
actually,
liking this one.
Forget everything I said about crossbows. This one, HP of stone walls, 900 to 1080. Gates, 1375 to 1650. I don't think it's enough, but it's a step in the right direction of making Arena playable.
Feels good, man.
And not a trush fest.
This is going to make humans a lot better.
That's true. Both from...
If humans don't have to worry about getting trushed, then they're just going to become so much stronger.
Yeah, both that, and also if they want to go aggressive, they're still the save with the Rams. Yep. You can still bust through the walls. And, anyway, Elephant Archer. Cav Archer armor increased from -7 to -4, resulting in less bonus damage from skirmishers. That'll make Elephant Archers better against skirms, because they just kind of died to them earlier.
Yep, and they're also cheaper.
Yep. So, I guess this is a good buff to Bengalis and Dravidians.
Yeah, basically.
Basically, yeah. Armored Elephant is now affected by Siege Engineers. This is kind of a bug fix, but also a huge buff to them when you get to them in the Imperial Age. They will do
but it only matters
damage.
for Hindustanis and Bengalis, because Gujars and Dravidians don't have Siege Engineers.
Yep.
But what it does make is Bengali Siege Elephants, like, really, really good.
You thought Rams get plus 40%? I think it's just...
No, that's just petards.
Yeah, it's just petards. Exactly. Starting resource and villager bonuses are no longer disabled in Empire Wars, so... Okay, I guess that's Red Bull, but doesn't really affect much. Age advancement bonuses are correctly applied for the starting age only when an age other than Dark Age is selected.
So I think this means that Ethiopians, like in Empire Wars, they get their extra 100 food and gold. Bengalis get their 2 extra villagers. Dravidians get their 200 extra wood. That's really it.
Yeah. And the minimum buy price for all non-Saracen civs with guilds researched is reset to 23 instead of 25. They fixed the market earlier so that you couldn't do an infinite loop to generate gold with Saracens. And there was some funky stuff changing with prices because of that, so I guess this is fixing that now.
Yep.
Bengalis, this is the big one for Arena. +3/+3 armor. Slavs used to have that with Orthodoxy, right? But it was locked behind the unique tech at the castle, so by the time you did that, wasn't really too useful for monks anymore. Bengalis just get this. And with their +4 vills, they already had a good monk rush. Now they're just going to have a insane monk rush.
Yeah, they take one more hit to die from scouts, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so scouts still have +15 bonus attack against monks that this armor doesn't affect. It's only the melee attack and the pierce attack. It's not the bonus attack. But this means something like skirmishers no longer going to be able to damage monks. With fletching and bodkin, they'll only do 2 damage instead of 5. And spearmen, well, they weren't really good against monks anyway, but now they're going to be even less.
Now they're like useless.
Yeah, now they're like useless. Monks are basically like
already
rams.
Outfield spearman damage.
Yeah. And then elephant archers and armored elephants now receive the intended bonus damage from their counter units. Bonus resistance modifier applies after the armor subtraction from the damage instead of before. So that makes it consistent with how hill bonus is applied, and that it's applied after their armors are subtracted.
Yeah.
Britons get treadmill crane. I guess that's a deathmatch change.
Yeah, there's a bunch of civs that get and lose treadmill crane, and it's entirely for deathmatch, which I think is kind of meh. Because treadmill crane is still a useful upgrade in RM.
Yeah, it is. Britain's getting it in RM could be a bit like they do like to go for castles with longbows, so it could affect them there. Custier, charge damage, decreased, both good. Food discount reduced from -50 to -40, also good. Don't know if that's enough, but it's probably good. Still not a fan of the Custier design.
I just don't like the design of the Custier. Burgundians are still going to be good at the things that they've already been good at. It's just they're not quite as good. So.
Receive access to treadmill crane. Won't complain about Byzantines. There they are. I think Byzantines are one of the worst.
Going to be even more ahead in the most broad tech tree.
Yeah. Cumans fixed an issue where some Cuman herdable animals had 50% more food in them than intended. Yeah, that was a weird bug. Sometimes their sheep or herdables had more food, so that's fixed. Dravidians, ooh, this is a big one. They get bombard cannons.
Really big change. They had no way of dealing with siege onagers or onagers in general, or even enemy bombard cannons, so now you at least get your own.
Yeah. You still don't have siege engineers, and you still have pretty useless siege onagers without siege engineers, but at least you're less helpless. I guess that's what this does. Surprised it's the only change for Dravidians.
Dravidians are still pretty strong in certain situations.
Gurjars, Elite Shrivampshrider, full agility recharge time increased from 15 to 20. Yep, so the normal ones have 5 charges, the elite ones have 7, and it looks like this is only changing the recharge time of the elite ones. So now it'll take, I guess, just longer to get all 7 of them, but it'll still be an advantage over the like normal ones because you'll still get to the 5 charges faster.
Exactly.
Yep. Right. So mounted units, additional bonus damage reduced, probably not by enough. Elite Shrivampshrider upgrade cost now matches the intended amount.
It's a bit more food and a bit less gold, which I think is good just because it's more in line with what the unit costs. You know, the unit costs a lot of food and not a lot of gold, so it makes sense for the elite upgrade to be similar.
All right. Calculation of the food income from garrisoned herdable animals now uses a non-linear calculation. Okay, so before it was 3.5 food or per minute for every 100 food garrisoned inside of the mill. So sheep with 100 food and water buffaloes or cows with 150 had different multipliers. So if you had like a water nomad map with tons of water buffalo, you'd put them in the mill and get like super food. Now that's going to decrease. It'll be 15 times in food amount over 200 plus 1. So this is okay. Ornlu, are you ready for a math rant?
Sure.
You should never write your fractions like this because it's ambiguous if it means, like, I guess it makes sense here because you would just write 201 on the bottom, but the parsing here is ambiguous as to whether that's 200 plus 1 all on the bottom of the fraction or 200 at the bottom and plus 1 at the end. Yeah. And it's not like if you want to very strictly do like the little kid PEMDAS thing, then you'd separate out the 1. But different style guides have different guidelines for this. So this is why we do these patch notes. We can teach people how to format their math correctly. And you want to put the space on each side of your operators too. Anyway, where food amount is the sum of food in all garrisoned herdable animals. Oh, wait. Is this not in? Is that LN? Is that an L? Copy and paste that. And is that an I or an L? So, someone give me a font where that's different. Just give me a serif font and tell me, because
it's L.
It's L. So let's LN, and again, it is a bit ambiguous as to what we're taking the log of. Is it the log of this entire thing, of this thing, of just the food amount?
Okay, but here's the upshot. It means that, like a map where you have 8 sheep, you now build 8 mills and have 1 sheep in each mill, and you just get all the food. You get literally all of it.
No, I think that's been changed, though. This means food amount is the sum of food in all garrisoned herdable animals.
Of each mill.
It doesn't say of each mill here, though.
But it is of each mill, is the thing.
Well, that's how it was in the pup, right? They might have changed that, maybe? Maybe they changed it?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, like this should be the sum of all food. And I'm not sure what exactly is the log for the argument for the log here. And what is... I'm guessing the one is on the outside. And I'm guessing the log only applies to the food amount, because otherwise you'd put the log on the outside and put everything inside the parentheses. Quick. Yeah, someone will have to do some testing and figure this out. And also another math note, don't use ln. ln is like high school calculator stuff. ln is not used in mathematics. Just write log for the natural log. All right. Garrisoning all of a player's own herdables on a map with standard resources like Arabia now grants about 15% less food income than before. That's probably what's important. Less food income than before. So there was some interesting usage of the Gurjara sheep garrisoning I had seen in the Terra Nova duos, where they realized Licks wanted to Vilfight a lot, so they put the Gurjaras on the flank and had them Vilfight against Licks, so that they always had like the extra food income from the mill that wasn't being affected by the Vilfights.
Mm-hmm.
That was a really cool usage of it, but I guess that'll be less effective now. Fixed an issue where Shrivampsh riders could not dodge the nearby blast damage of projectiles. I guess that was like you attack ground with a mangonel and they couldn't dodge it, but now they can.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
Oh, they're right. This is a straight nerf. I just tested it in the scenario editor.
Okay, and they actually, it doesn't count individually for the mills. No 8 mil Gujar. Okay. And then Gulam, reduce the HP of the unit. And, lose access to halbs. That is a good change, because they already have lots of camels for countering that stuff. Now they're more like Saracens, where they don't get halb.
Or Berbers.
Yeah, and now Gulam. I do kind of don't like that they're, like, again, copying the design of existing civs. It was nice to have something different. But I guess when you shove 42 civs into sell DLCs, that's going to happen.
Well, I mean, the Gulam is just going to be a bit more balanced now.
Oh, yeah, the Gulam, that's a good change. But I'm talking more about the Halberdier one.
Oh, well, yeah, that's just because they already had so many ways of dealing with cavalry.
Yeah.
And by so many, I mean one.
Elite War Wagon, Cav Archer armor reduced from 0 to 1. Remind me, was their wood cost increased earlier?
Yes, it was.
Okay, yeah. So they went down to 92 wood anymore. They're at 100 now, I think?
Yes.
Yeah. Because back in AOC, they were 120. Then they were reduced in HD, and then reduced again with the Koreans' wood discount, and they were down to 92 wood, and that was insane.
It just says Elite War Wagon, but I just checked the Genie editor. It's regular War Wagon as well.
Okay, so, yeah, so both elite and non-elite armor reduced. Melee, deathmatch change for Treadmill Crane.
It means you can spam more bombard towers.
Yep, Saracen's Market, they are fixing the thing that it should be 21. I think that's what it always was, right? 21 minimum buy price. Yeah, it's 1921. And then Sicilians, bonus damage resistance for land military. This is a great change. Sicilians are just not a fun civ, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is they're going to be a lot weaker now.
Yeah.
But the people actually have to, like, think with the civ.
Yeah, you can't just spam the Cavaliers. Cavaliers, like, with all that PS armor, are still going to be insane, though. But at least Halbs can kind of fight them.
Yeah.
And then
I
Luzak...
think people aren't going to pick them anymore for tournaments, though, because you have to, like, play Donjon, like Sergeant Arb, Halb, in most situations, I feel. Like, that's just
you have to play Castle
army.
Drop, kind of, too.
Yeah.
That's still going to happen to them.
And the thing is, what people are just not going to do that, and they're just not going to play Sicilians.
Yeah. The thing is, that bonus was so strong that they basically had to remove everything from the tech tree to keep them balanced. And now we'll see how they are. Lose treadmill crane. Okay, well, I guess that doesn't stack with their castles anymore, so that's probably good. They really didn't need...
That's another DM change.
Yeah, and also, yeah, it is a DM change. They didn't need treadmill crane. And then Teutons, that's a DM change too. Lose treadmill crane. All right.
Yep.
Cool. Random maps, new maps. Oh.
It's 2 Red Bull maps.
Morris. Okay, Red Bull maps. Is that the Empire Wars map pool, or we'll check out the map pool in a moment. Okay, so migration. Berries failing to spawn. All right, Scandinavia. Fixed an issue in the script which led to inconsistent deer spawns. All right. Islands.
Yeah, Morass and Shoals are both in the Empire Wars map pool. The RM map pool is exactly the same.
Oh, they're separating the gold piles on islands? I guess this means that you will be less likely to have your golds denied from the coast if you lose water.
Or you get tower rushed.
That too. Same with the stones. And distributed more evenly. I always worry when that happens. Well, we just played islands, Will. we played the last game of islands. The shapes of islands have been rounded to prevent extremely long and narrow island shapes. That sounds like a bad thing. I don't like maps that are too consistent. I think they need to be random. We'll see how that is. Agree. I probably don't like that. Starting forests spawn 1 tile further away to allow for more space for starting resources. Okay, that's helping to make things not trapped. Right. Added the new set building capturable RMS perimeter in order to ensure battle royale building behavior in other game modes. All right, so that'll be a fun new thing to play around with, so that you can capture the buildings like a monument. Right. AI.
The island map generations. I'm just looking at some in the editor. They seem pretty fine.
They seem fine. All right.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. You just don't get the ones that have the really, really long coastlines.
Right. Admittedly, they could get very awkward if they were at the extremes, but I hope the the middle awkwardness is still there.
Yes, it is.
Right. Okay, now some AI changes. AI will task builds to foundation even if they are currently trying to gather from trees. All right, I think you could do that with direct unit control before, but maybe it just improves the back AI engine. Fixed an issue where pack trebs attack groups can get stuck due to excessive spamming of commands in the AI engine. Okay. Fixed an issue where AI was staying idle if no wood was present in the line of sight at the beginning of a Nomad game. Oh no.
Oh no.
That was bad. Oh, and Blackadder's, thank you for the host. I know you were just playing watching some Age of Mythology. No, as a side note, I really like how Age of Mythology, the camera can look at things from different angles. I know that's a very random thing, but I saw that on a stream earlier and it was awesome.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'll talk about that when I finally get to my Age 4 review and talk about how limited that camera is. But anyway, okay, Chinese AI on Budapest now properly uses both TCs to spawn villagers and for research. That's very specific, but good. AI in Extreme will now consider building castles starting in the Castle Age instead of waiting for Imp. Oh, okay, I never realized that, but that's a good change.
Yeah, that's weird.
AI players in DM have been optimized to no longer immediately build lumber camps in the first few minutes.
Feels good, man.
Yeah. AI, oh, this is a great one. No longer builds docks before lumber camps on water maps. I hadn't seen that, but I can imagine that being horrible. Alright, no longer ungarrisons players' units automatically when there are more than 3 in their own TC. Alright. New DLC civs no longer creates more units than intended for specific difficulty pop limits. Alright. Oh, okay, that means the DLC civs will now behave properly on lower difficulties. Or
yes,
behave or more than yeah. Alright, good. Alright, pathfinding. Oh, okay, this is a big one. This is a big one. Units no longer go a few tiles in the opposite direction after receiving a movement task when they were previously chasing a unit with the attack command.
Yep.
That is a big one. And it wasn't a few tiles. You would right-click something, and your thing would just ping off to the other side of the map. They'd keep going. It wasn't a few tiles.
Yep.
hopefully they fixed all of the issues there. Maybe there's a separate issue where it would go a few tiles, then turn around, and they didn't fix the big one. Hopefully they're both fixed. But that sounds promising. And this, Nikov.
It's the Nikov
It's the Nikov fixed. Nikov, every single patch since the beginning of since DE was released in our FE Discord, he would post about how his villagers would be quick-walled in his lumber camp and go idle.
Yup.
This is the Nikov fixed. Maybe it'll finally be fixed.
And like I would see it in his games too.
Yeah, yes. It was horrible. It was like, it would happen to everyone, but Nikov was the one where it was most prevalent.
For some reason.
Is the Gurjura bonus broke if you make multiple mills? No, it's not. It counts the food of all vills. We don't know.
It's boring.
Yeah, it's a bit ambiguous, the formatting of the formula about what exactly is applied to the natural log and what the denominator of the division is. But I think it's natural log of food amount divided by 200 and then that plus 1. Well, I guess if the 200 has to be outside the log, because otherwise you do like a subtraction and just put a constants there. So I think this is the 15 times the natural log of the food amount. Let me add a text. Math. I just want to add this in OBS, I think. 15 times.
Yeah, I just checked. If you have 8 sheep and 8 mills, or like 1 sheep and 8 mills, then you still only get like 30 food a minute.
And all of that plus 1. Or actually, the right way to do that then would be 15 times 1 plus that. That's probably the clearest way to write that. There you go. And that's what we think the formula is. 15 times 1 plus the log of the food amount divided by 200. And if that doesn't fit on the screen, make that smaller. Put that down here. There we go.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah. So Ash, when you watch this, base E, yes, base E. Log means base E. Don't listen to those silly TI calculators that write LN. That's not a thing that exists. That's like a chemistry textbook because they calculate pHs, but like base 10 logs are like you don't really use them anywhere else. Natural log is the proper log to use. Well, I guess here they could just use. I don't know why they chose one log over another for the food amount, but they did. Anyway, so next time Ashley writes patch notes that have math in them, give me a ping first. I will make sure that your math is properly formatted. Anyway, pathfinding. So the Nikov fixed villagers to return their food to the TC instead of a newly built mill close to a berry bush. Okay, that sounds good. Scout units are not able to pass through any kind of foundations anymore. That sounds good too.
Yep.
Modding. Importing local mods doesn't break subscribed mods anymore. Okay, good. That I clicked the import local mods button and everything had been breaking, so I hadn't been clicking it, so that's good. Added support for installing mod with non-English characters. I wonder if this just means full Unicode support instead of just ASCII support. I'm not exactly sure what the character encoding was, but that sounds promising. I don't know what kind of foundation they could get through before. I don't know of any instance where that was occurring. Do you know, Ornlu?
Palisades, I think.
Yeah.
Like Palisade Gate. Like I think it was like if it was the corner of an unfinished Palisade Gate and a Palisade wall, I think the scout could glitch through it sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, and John Eigner, I get what you're saying, but the reason I think it would apply to the food and not to the 200 was because then the 200 could just be a subtraction and brought outside of the 1 and grouped, and then brought outside of the log and grouped with the 1. But maybe it is cleaner just to put the 200 there. So maybe it is log of food over 200. We will need to do some checking. This is why you care about how you format math. I write a lot of math. Vinchester had that happen to him in a tournament game recently. Okay. Well, then that is good to have it fixed then. All right, so loading an AI script via the scenario editor no longer produces errors if certain map types are referred. I don't know what that's referring to, but I'm sure maybe Alien or Mr. Kirby would know what that is. Armor and attack type field visually no longer resets to 0 after reselecting. Okay, I'm not.
No idea.
This might be referring to a field as an effect for the modify attribute trigger. Yes, okay, I think I had run into that, and it would make sense that this was an issue that is being fixed. So, my game finished updating. I can... Oh, crap, I need to turn my mods on. No. Gotta restart the game again. And, sure. My text disappeared, Ornlu.
Oh, no.
My text, I don't got no text on the menu.
Yep.
It is 15 times log. Oh, so the log applies to food amount over 200 plus 1. Okay, Aqualente, as we restart, is going to give us our math.
Oh, boy.
Update. All right. So it is the log of food amount over 200 plus 1. And we'll write this clearly so that we see that the 1 is on the outside, and there should be there if we parenthesize that. All right. And wonderful Arial font. And thank you, Razmik Cacti, for the follow. So 15 times the log of food amount over 200 plus 1, and that is, of course, the natural log. All right,
I'm still just sad. Like, I was so ready for like arena late game to have just 8 mills in the back of my base, just churning out food constantly.
Oh, and JBR AoE, thank you for the follow.
I mean, I know it would have been like what, around
2 brackets,
120 food a minute or something like that.
Can we just get LaTeX? I wish OBS supported that. What do you mean 2 brackets at the end? Yeah, I wrote it differently. You put the parenthesis on the, like on the outside of the log. I put the parenthesis here. So the log is applied to this fraction plus 1. So that's what Aqualante said. The 2 brackets. Yeah, the food amount over 200 plus 1 is under the log. Yep, exactly. So log of this fraction plus 1. I just put the parenthesis there so that we know the 1 is not in the denominator. Yeah. Yeah. Good. That's the fun part of this stream. We get to do math. All right. So I was restarting the game because I was going to show what this did now that I can do that, the updates, but we'll keep going. Speed up object type resource can now affect the specific unit IDs. List of triggers and activate trigger effect is no longer bugged when using Control Shift plus move commands. All right. The modify attribute trigger effect now works properly with projectile hit mode and projectile vanish mode. Okay. Old scenarios using the change object attack trigger effect now work properly with a negative attack. All right. Modify attribute. Yeah, this feels like a bunch of bugs with the modify attribute trigger that were bugged and are now fixed. Now also works properly with armor and attack attributes. Which is maybe the same thing as that they're being fixed, but okay. Oh, XS scripting. XS files now transfer correctly on either subscribed or local mods. Do you know what that means, Ornlu?
Nope.
Do you know what that means? That means I don't have any text. Okay, which of these buttons? I got a tooltip. Install and manage mods. That means if you go and you install the Tetris mod, you might not need to manually copy and paste the XS files to be in the right locations to play the scenario. They might do it themselves now. Oh, I can finally update and finish Tetris.
There we go.
We can make Tetris.
There we go.
All right. Tetris will now work as a scenario. And ongoing. A very thorough ongoing update. We are continuing to track issues reported by the community for future updates. Not subscribed. Well, I'm not subscribed because I have it in my local mods, and I try not to like subscribe to something that I've also uploaded, because then I get confused about which files go where. That's why I'm not subbed to it. And then like I also like I have so many things that I have different folders in different places, so to keep it clean, I try to like have inactive ones not show up. But anyway, wait, why do you put ongoing and then what's on the horizon in different sections? Make this one section. For our next event, we're throwing a penguin party. Okay, so this is the scripter event. Winter months in the southern hemisphere. Oh, isn't it gonna be like spring in the southern hemisphere in less than a month?
Yeah, we're getting to spring.
Like this feels like this will be too late for the
yeah
winter one. 25 exclusive events. What does exclusive even mean here?
Well, it means that you have to play it on, you know, get the Aoe2 events on Aoe2. You can't play StarCraft and get the Aoe2 events.
Yep, you can't play. What's that new RTS? That's they said they're not going to have NFTs in their trailer. Yeah, Stormgate. Can't get the events on Stormgate. You know, I feel like AoE4 is going to die as soon as Stormgate comes out.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Very special announcements. And like AoE2 will keep going as it always has, but Stormgate's just gonna like AoE4 I feel like is a bunch of refugees who don't have a game to play. And as soon as they have an actual working product, they'll just AoE4 will die.
Unless AoE4 is like completely polished by the time that Stormgate comes out, but you know.
Yeah. Okay, please note this list is subject to change and should not be considered a comprehensive list of all known issues we're tracking. That is a good thing because the list doesn't have any issues.
Yeah.
Okay, and
there was some copy pasting going on right there.
Okay, and so I just think you asked for writing up the list. If it was you, maybe it wasn't you, maybe it was someone else. We don't know. I mean, actually, is there like a team member who posted the AoE2 DE team? That could be Will, but he's on vacation, so it wasn't Will. Will can be next month's patch notes. All right. Anyway, are you ready to see this updated game, Ornlu? Are you ready?
Well, I actually need to go.
Oh, you need? Oh, that's right. You said you need to go at 8:30. We played one game and then the patch notes came.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll see you later, Ornlu. Thanks for stopping by.
GG.
GG. Also, you bet rematch is going with your pre-made team. Oh, that could also be another reasonable interpretation of the meaning of rematch. Actually, did we just read through those patch notes and did not come across an explanation of rematch? Right, let me... Yeah. Oh boy. These patch notes... It says we have rematch shortcuts, but nowhere in the patch notes does it explain what the rematch shortcuts are. Oh, we got a game, though. We got a game.